We all possess dreams, goals, and desires, which reflect the deepest longings of our being and the path by which your soul leads you to grow in knowledge, wisdom, and abilities, while also fulfilling the mission for which your soul is on earth. Our dreams and desires are perfectly aligned with the mission and purpose of our soul on earth, and no matter how grand the illusion of our being may seem, everything is possible for us to achieve. Each of us has the incredible ability to materialize what we desire and absolutely everything needed for our soul's journey, and it comes from that internal ability, from that innate creative gift. More than seeking things externally, each of us has within ourselves everything we need to embrace the things we desire in our realm. We just have to learn to harness that power, and from there, we will have the whole world at our feet. This knowledge is real, widely studied and practiced for many years, but it can profoundly impact souls that are still asleep to knowledge and spiritual life, awaiting the long-awaited moment when their being opens up to knowledge and the activation of that power that has been dormant within us. Undoubtedly, this can be the determining factor for your soul to lead you to enlightenment. This can be the necessary turning point for you to take full control of your life. It's time to set everything in motion so that your reality reflects the greatness of your soul. Because it's not uncommon to see how people end up achieving everything they set out to do, and they do it by aligning their being with the energies of the universe and respecting the laws it imposes, but always using prayer as a means. As we know well, prayer has always been present in the lives of human beings. Since we have existed, prayer has been known as a means to communicate with the Creator, with the universe, and with the celestial beings whose mission is to help us fulfill our mission on earth and achieve our goals. Because if one thing is certain, it is that we were all created to obtain the things we desire, and for our task on this earthly plane to be fulfilled along the way. Therefore, within us lies the potential required to ensure that our being lives in fullness and surrounded by absolutely everything it desires for itself, also contributing an important energy that enhances the manifestation of things in the reality of those around us and helps shape the panorama envisioned for humanity as a whole. It's impressive, but all this is possible through the use of our inner strength, and of course, it must be accompanied by a correct form of prayer because beyond what people believe, there are quite common mistakes that end up ruining the intention we put into prayer. But not knowing how to pray doesn't have to be a limitation, because today we are going to explore together the most important aspects of prayer so that from this moment on, there is nothing that limits your being when it comes to building that life and reality that you desire so much. We possess a creator potential too great to let it pass by. Our role in this plane is extremely important. We are a crucial part of humanity's history, even though many may not see it that way. And it's not necessary to be a distinguished personality for us to be active participants in the direction humanity takes, because while it's true that each of us is an individual with challenges and an individual process, our journey is inevitably connected to the progress and evolution of the Earth and humanity. That's why it's crucial to understand the power within us and know how to channel it, with prayer being the perfect way to direct our energies and message to the universe so that it can provide the necessary conditions for the manifestation of those goals and dreams we have. Understanding this, we must know that the universe has a special way of communicating with us, which depends on our vibration, which is nothing more than that energy that emanates from us at every moment. There is not a single moment in our lives when we stop vibrating, and this vibration is something impossible to fake, depending entirely on what we store within us and what we express with our words. That's why it has a close relationship with prayer. So let's observe what composes our vibration so that from there the path becomes easier to navigate, because vibrating is not just having a feeling or a project within us, but we must be able to align the three aspects that compose our vibration with the energies and frequencies that are characteristic of what we desire. There are positive energies as well as negative ones, and there are very high vibrational frequencies that align with everything good and positive, while at the other end, we find low vibrational frequencies that can only be aligned with the negative, the painful, and the lacks in our world. Our being aligns with one or the other frequencies, and this occurs in many cases unconsciously, because even those who are asleep in consciousness end up vibrating and aligning with one of these two extremes. But as expected, in most cases where one is not aware of this, our being and our life end up aligning with low vibrational frequencies and manifesting extremely negative and painful things in our reality. To align our energies with what is right and beneficial for us, we must necessarily control our thoughts and feelings, combining them in a perfect way with our expression, which is a determining factor when it comes to prayer. However, what is prayer? The act of prayer is understood as expressing to the universe everything we desire and seek, attracting it from there into our reality and our life. The universe is constantly listening to each of the beings inhabiting the earth. It listens intently to every word that comes out of our mouths and even those we write. So we must understand that prayer is a constant act. Prayer is not just a pre-written sentence that we simply repeat, nor a request that we formulate with just a "I want," but it constitutes a much deeper act from which we openly speak with divine and universal forces, achieving from there an understanding of what we are seeking through our journey. The purpose of prayer is to allow the universe to understand what we seek, so that it can provide the space and necessary factors for it to manifest in our reality. Everything we want and visualize represents a package that is ready and packed at quantum levels to be delivered. But it only manages to reach reality through the force that is committed to attracting it. But if we are constantly in prayer, as the premise suggests that the universe always listens to us, even when we don't intend to communicate something, then it's possible that at some point we have uttered words that are not beneficial for our relationship and our life, because in our human condition, we can end up failing in certain things. And even those mistakes and errors are an integral part of our process, so they should not be a reason to discourage us or stop seeking what we desire to have in our reality. So much beyond what we may have said at some point that is contrary to what we really desire, what really matters is what we are going to express from now on, what we are going to ask the universe for, and how we will do it. Because if you want an example of the power of your words, just count the number of times you have mentioned something that really scares you, or that you abhor, and then see how it ends up appearing in your life after doing so. The connection between our words and what we experience is simply noticeable, and there is no doubt that words are a powerful part of us. That's why, when we align expression, feeling, and thoughts to elevate our prayers, wonderful things happen, and miracles end up occurring. Now, just as important as what we say is knowing when we formulate our requests, because an important characteristic of the universe is that it does not recognize a time other than the present. Despite humanity's insistence on considering other times, the universe is always rooted in the present moment and only knows how to manifest what we ask for in the now. The past is something that no longer exists. It has already happened and has no scope of action for any of us, not even for the universe itself. On the other hand, the future time is ambiguous, and the landscape that awaits us simply does not arrive until that future becomes the new present and the new reality we live in. Therefore, asking for things in the future is simply something that will not be acknowledged. Every time you utter words to the universe about the future and how you wish things to be, it will simply discard those moments of prayer and deep connection that you are investing in. Remember that prayer is also a moment of deep connection with the universe, in which we converse openly, without the need for any formalities. It is simply a space where we open our hearts so that these forces can see what resides within it and manifest it. And if prayer is that wonderful channel to convey the correct and accurate information about what we want in our lives, we need to ask ourselves, why sabotage ourselves by asking for it in the future? Do I want to experience that in the future, or would I like to have it right now? I don't believe there is a single person who postpones their happiness, the fulfillment of their dreams, or their well-being. And if they do, it's simply because they are still living in unconsciousness and don't feel deserving of the countless treasures that the universe holds for their being. So let's not be among those who end up sabotaging all their work by continuing to think that speaking in the future is correct, because in reality, it is a silent enemy of our manifestation process. Stop saying that you would like to get a job soon because you're suggesting the help you can have to achieve it in an uncertain and ambiguous future. Instead, affirm with great conviction and belief, I have today the job of my dreams. Even if it's a bit contradictory to say this considering the situations in your life, do it anyway. Think about it and generate in yourself the feeling you would have if you were called right now to take that perfect position for you. From the moment you change that part of your expression, you will see how things come more quickly, smoothly, and in complete harmony with the universe. But this is not the only mistake that humans make in the midst of their prayers and what they let out to be carried to the universe. There are also other aspects, such as the lack of action when seeking what is desired. Because although the process of manifestation does not necessarily involve physical effort, we simply cannot expect things to appear before our eyes as if by magic. It is important that we break those false beliefs that say people who choose to use their creative power and obtain what they need from it only sit and wait for others to bring them what they desire. In reality, manifesting involves effort and constant attention, one that is not obtained just by sitting and waiting, but requires us to seek to exercise control over our thoughts, our deepest desires, and the way we feel about them, recognizing that it is important to carefully choose our expressions and how we speak about what is wanted. Things will not happen just because we pray and lock ourselves up waiting for someone else to bring good things to us. It will inevitably involve continuing to move until at a specific point everything is aligned in the perfect way for what we seek to take space in our reality. An example of this is people who seek to manifest wealth and abundance, but in their path to do so only settle for the job they have, saving a bit of their income from each payment with the firm desire that one day they will be comfortable with the amount they have saved. But is that really wealth? The truth is, if a person seeks wealth, they must work hard, both internally and in the earthly factors that generate sufficient money. We ourselves open the doors to success, and we do so from our desire and our quest for improvement and evolution, both internally and externally. If we are so important for our future, and somehow we know it, just spending life waiting for miracles is not the correct path. Because more than waiting for a miracle to happen, you have to take your life and lead it to that miracle, creating what fills us with joy. It's important that we recognize our leading role amidst everything that happens and venture to walk with confidence and firmness, supported at all times by the universe and by the forces that emanate from our Creator, not to mention the infinite strength of our soul. So don't just stand there waiting for a miracle to happen. Build your miracle yourself, be the miracle, and pull everything you need in this earthly plane towards you with strength. Everything is possible for us if we organize everything necessary within ourselves with our own hands and focus on what we desire and align ourselves with energies and ideas that are conducive to that. Just as there are other aspects of our lives that are manageable and important, this same vibration within us is a matter of vital importance, which requires commitment. As we mentioned before, our thoughts and feelings are also intertwined with this idea of manifestation, making every tiny detail that touches our minds or beings carefully examined and cared for. We are a temple, one that aligns with what we allow to enter it. So we must stand at the doors of ourselves and ensure that everything that enters us brings only a positive charge for our being. Even the most insignificant things can wield power when it comes to aligning ourselves with what we desire. as it's no secret that sometimes we are so engulfed in negativity that it becomes almost impossible to align our being with the right frequencies. Like a musical instrument that must be carefully tuned, our being must also be calibrated to play the most beautiful symphony of creation and fulfillment. We are the soul responsible for what we experience, and if today we are not living the things we desire, but instead we live our greatest nightmares, there's a need to make room for internal review and evaluate ourselves objectively, seeing how much effort we're putting in to keep ourselves clean and how committed we are to ourselves on this path of manifestation. It's important that we see ourselves as the great, strong, and capable beings we are, and that we don't allow any negative energy or discordant thoughts to enter us and dictate how we tune into success and fulfillment today. And from there, we pull everything into our lives. Because remember, from the moment that idea entered us, it has already been designated for us to experience it. Everything we imagine is already ready for us to embrace. It's done and bears our name. But it won't become part of our reality until we enthusiastically move to prepare the ground to receive it in this earthly plane. Let's practice deservingness, envisioning ourselves from the standpoint of capability, power, from the idea that we are completely capable of achieving what we've set out to do and much more. There is no one on earth who deserves more than us what we work for. That's how the universe sees it, conceives it, and based on that, it has provided everything necessary for you to enjoy that treasure your mind draws. The only thing that will truly limit your being is yourself. From your mental barriers and from the desire to dodge all those things that represent a wall that prevents us from reaching our full potential. So, when we join this path and start using the resources within us to create what is desired, we must be very clear about the responsibility we are taking on for the evolution and well-being of our being. And above all, remember that your words are powerful as much as you allow them to be, so don't let them refer to a role or a reality that we don't wish to live or inhabit, because in truth, there's not a single part of the universe that isn't willing to execute everything in your favor. This is just an illusion that has been imposed on us, and we must overcome it for the sake of our goals. In reality, everything is in our favor, and rather than complaining about what we experience, we should honor it and see it as a part of the journey we are undertaking in search of our greatness and evolution. We've come this far to evolve, and every part of our journey has been carefully designed for us to achieve that growth and expansion of our being. It's completely erroneous to think that in one way or another, we're not meant to live that perfect life, because if that were the case, we wouldn't even have been able to project it in our minds. So, even though there may be people who distrust what the future holds for them, it's important for you to remain completely confident that it is good and great. Because every part of you is designed for greatness, and your soul knows it, understands it, and helps you achieve it. Moreover, we are never alone on this path, because from the moment of our arrival in this plane, we begin to occupy an important place, one that aligns with our soul and our process. And although for some it may not be so easy to accept this knowledge, we are called to receive the truth within us. To help us with this, there are spiritual guides who seek to awaken us and support us on our journey. This is not a solitary task of our soul. It is actually a common project of all souls and beings of light that inhabit the universe, because cooperation is its foundation, and they know perfectly well the weight that your being carries in all of this. If the universe and these beings of light support you, it's because they know the value of your being, a value that is often hidden from yourself, and that we must appreciate if we truly desire to follow a path of manifestation. Accept and recognize your being, and the divine messages sent to guide it with love towards the achievement of its objectives and desires. There is nothing more valuable than our confidence, and that's why we're required to trust ourselves and the messages we receive from higher dimensions and beings of our reality. By embracing these messages, we become deserving of higher knowledge and an impulse that will take us one step closer to that precious moment of manifestation, not to mention that we will receive hopeful and encouraging messages at certain times. And seeing all of this, it becomes necessary to talk about another important and powerful factor that is capable of leading us to success and greatness, and to the manifestation of everything we desire, and that is nothing less than gratitude. Much is said about being grateful and how good it is, because without a doubt, this energy is capable of taking everything, transforming it, and making it something better and more beautiful for us, because its positivity and alignment with the highest vibrations are total. Learning to live in gratitude is something that very few know how to do, and it brings an endless stream of blessings into our lives. So at this moment, I urge you to contemplate how aligned you are with this force and this sublime act towards the universe and our lives. Every day we have wonderful things to be thankful for, and by doing so, we are inviting the universe to multiply all the good in us, in our reality, and in every aspect of our lives. Over the years, we were taught to thank others for their positive actions towards us and our projects, but very little was said about the gratitude we must have for ourselves and for the universe, which from anonymity orchestrates everything in a perfect way and in balance with the universe. If we know how to say thank you and recognize our own efforts, we should also know how to acknowledge the efforts of the universe to make us better and more prepared to receive the infinite blessings that are rightfully ours. It is well known that from gratitude, even the smallest thing can become an immense blessing for our lives. And this, without the need to invest more than a little of our time in recognizing what is done for us every day, even if it doesn't come from the efforts of other people. Giving thanks is a sublime act in which we demonstrate to the universe that we are aware of all the energies and things moving around us, and that in one way or another they are mobilized in favor of our soul, our process, and our well-being. Each awakening already represents a complete wonder, one for which we must give thanks with faithful and firm conviction. Although we may take very simple things like these for granted, the truth is that they are valuable treasures and privileges not enjoyed by everyone, and they are given to you so that you can move a little closer to your goal. Everything is moving in your favor at this very moment. The universe, far from being the hostile place that many want to paint, is a space of opportunities and blessings for each of the souls that inhabit it, without distinction or discrimination, when distributing valuable treasures. However, what does happen is that the universe ends up working a little harder for those who work on themselves, and who are committed to achieving everything they desire, knowing and acknowledging that in one way or another it will help humanity in its process, and that the energy and efforts they put into what they do are not just for themselves, but also resonate in others. When we understand this and cultivate the valuable ability of gratitude, wonderful things happen, and largely because as we transform ourselves, so does our prayer. That is to say, here we truly understand how everything connects and make it possible for our prayer to be more powerful and fluid from true knowledge. Understanding the universe and its intentions with us brings us closer in beautiful ways to a purer, sensible, and harmonious form of prayer, from which we stop limiting the channels and ways in which the universe acts, appreciating that they arrive even when they are not, and hastening with this the wonderful dispatch that has been made to our reality and that comes loaded with fulfilled dreams and goals achieved. Only we ourselves set the pace with which that divine reward reaches us, being able to accelerate or slow down the pace of everything that approaches our reality. Let us allow gratitude to flood this work we do, and thereby let our prayer be magnified in strength, making us a powerful magnet that attracts all the good to our present. Give yourself the opportunity to even thank yourself for all that you are putting into it, because besides deserving it being a necessary ingredient, so is gratitude, as there is no one else but yourself in those moments of challenge and difficulty, from which you have always emerged victorious, thanks to the divine help sent to us and the incredible strength within you, which you do not realize until you have to put it to use. Make yourself the center of your gratitude, of your love, and of your compassion, because that will restore your being and prepare it so that the connection you establish with the divine is much greater, and that every word spoken in prayer is perfect and reaches the universe loud and clear, to whom there will be no other alternative but to fulfill everything you want, manifest it, and allow you to embrace it. Every new day, even before asking the universe for what you want so much, dare to thank it for everything you have, even if it's small, because in those prayer words lies the key to strengthen ourselves and enhance our intentions and our work. Upon waking up, open your eyes and understand that it is a blessing to see this new and precious day, and be grateful for it, for your health, for your body, even for small things like those soft sheets that keep you warm. Be grateful for everything, because if today you arrived here thinking you had very little, you have just discovered that you have a lot, and that you can multiply it even more. Don't hold back when it comes to expressing words of love and gratitude, because even amidst that so-called pain many experience, allowing good and positive words to flow is something precious that generates great positive changes in our lives. Words are powerful tools. They are the expression of the self and always carry what we have inside. Even if many don't want to let their feelings out, words always find a way to betray them. The way a person uses their words in a state of balance will never be the same as when they use them in moments of discomfort or pain, and this is something we detect one way or another. That's why it's important to pay attention to our words and how we let them flow from our mouths, because in addition to communicating to others how we feel, they also communicate to the universe what should appear on our path, as it is what is presented based on our vibration. Every time we take an event in our lives as the center and generator of complaints, the universe hears us and sees the great attention we give to that particular event, so it ends up giving us much more of it, even if we say 1,000 times that we don't like it, because it only understands if we pay attention to it and if we give it strength from our words. Things that are unpleasant to us don't deserve our words, not even to complain about them, because by doing so we only give them energy and time, and we waste our resources in the worst possible way. This is without considering the double-edged sword we may be invoking, as our words, just like they bless and gratify, can also create strong sentences towards our life and our future. The power of the word extends far beyond sacred texts, as it even composes the words used by humans to sow the fertile land that is the universe, from which we will only reap what we have sown. So if we occupy ourselves with complaining, cursing, or saying negative things constantly, all we will do is make situations of discomfort, losses, and great problems flourish in our lives. But if, on the other hand, we occupy ourselves with filling our mouths with beautiful words, full of gratitude and blessings, and release that into the world, what we will harvest will be as beautiful as imagined, and even much more beautiful than thought. Always remember to spend your words on things that are beneficial and that nourish and expand your soul, because anything that doesn't meet those requirements is undoubtedly not worthy of your time and expression. Don't forget that every expression you let out for the benefit of your process or what you want to achieve should be made in the present tense, because otherwise the true intention of the prayer is lost. And finally, keep in mind that the universe does not understand the word no, so every time you use it, you will end up receiving the opposite of what you are asking for, which can lead to frustration for many. The language of the universe only invites us to say the things we desire and are grateful for, but it never conceives a negative, much less a notification of what displeases us. That's why we observe that every time a person repeatedly asks for something not to happen or for a very specific situation not to occur, it ends up taking shape and becomes part of our reality, confronting that person with the fear or discomfort they are trying to avoid. The best way to prevent those things we don't desire from entering our reality is by ignoring them, walking with full certainty and security, and stopping giving our words and energy to them. From today onward, and making use of the knowledge that has been given to you in this opportunity, I wish for you to walk with certainty, faith, and firmness, and that in the midst of your journey, every time you release a word to the universe, you do it in the correct and perfect way, in harmony with it, and in tune with your true desires. And if you feel there is something else to consider when formulating our prayers, please say so in the comments. Because in this space, we all vibrate in cooperation, love, and compassion. If you enjoyed our meeting today and the shared knowledge, please give me a like and don't hesitate to share with another soul that needs to know the correct way to pray. And of course, I invite you to subscribe to this channel, where every day we will make room for a new encounter, from which we will emerge strengthened in knowledge, light, and positive energy. Although our time together has ended for now, I hope to see you in the next edition, to continue together on this path of evolution and blessings. Until then, take care.